Welcome to Hobby Palooza 2025. Hello everyone, I'm Orlando from Eclectic's Dream, and I'm honored this year to be your Hobby Palooza ambassador. This year, we're once again proud to support Signatures for Soldiers, a non-profit helping disabled veterans through the power of sports autographs. As you know, we're accepting donations all weekend long, and for every $10 that you donate, you'll earn one raffle entry for some amazing prizes. The preferred way to donate is through Zelle in your banking app to the email jekofma@yahoo.com, JECOFFMA@yahoo.com. If Zelle is not an option, use PayPal, goods and services to the same email. Let's go ahead and beat last year's total of over $5,800. This hour of Hobby Palooza is brought to you by the Penny Sleever, who are generously donating 10% of this week's sales at thepennysleever.com to Signatures for Soldiers. The Penny Sleever, as you know, has top quality supplies at fair prices. Enjoy the show and have some fun.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm the High Pop Professor.
And I'm Al from Iconic Baseball.
Welcome to Brothers Duo! How you doing, Al?
I'm well, Brian. How are you?
All right, doing great. So, yeah, welcome, Al. This is cool. We've never done a live before, and so maybe we should do some more of these things. But how have you been?
I have been good. It's a huge honor to be on Hobby Palooza. This is probably the most exciting thing I've ever done on YouTube.
There we go. There we go. Fantastic. So first things we have a couple a little bit of business to take care of. So please, all of you watching, please consider making a donation to Signatures for Soldiers. Doing so, Al and I are donating some items for a drawing for these. I'm going to donate this autographed 8x10 of Greg Maddux. And so here's one. You can see it, but there we are. So I've got this beautiful 8x10 Greg Maddux. Go ahead and donate for a chance to win that. And what are you donating, Al?
I have an Ozzie Smith autographed 88 Topps.
Beautiful.
It's a slab by Beckett. This is not Fanatics certified.
Uh-oh.
This is Beckett.
Maybe that needs to be our first topic. I don't know. All right. Well, in any case, I see. Yeah, Ruben Snyder. Does anyone have a Puckett auto on the cheap? You mean one of these?
Oh, there it is.
Here's my first big. Considered a national pickup right here. But woo, yeah, got this one the other day.
That little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
That little guy? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and well, first of all, got to say hi to the chat here. I'm monitoring the chat off to the side here, and so we've got a lot of people in the chat here. We've got Dufex of Life. We've got Staven Sports Cards in here. Lou Rock TV is in there. Andrew Deutsch, Jayhawker Vintage Cards. We've got Cards of Dogtown is in there. We've got Collector's Dream, Orlando's in here. Used a lot of course, John, 3D80s Kid, Sacramento Kings Cards.
Like Penny in the house.
Oh, yeah. Penny Sleever's in here. Carl Taylor, Ruben Snyder, Warren D, and CLE. We got everyone's coming in here. This is fantastic. Mike Petty's in there. So,
yeah,
anyway,
Petty must be out of the shower. So, okay. Good job, Petty.
All right. There we go. And I leave it SFO Sox fan. There we go. And so, yeah, as we're going, I'll try to monitor that every so often. But yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about this whole autograph authentication thing. What's your take on this?
Well, it's a huge bummer. Obviously, yeah. It sucks. I mean, it's like a horrible thing for the hobby as a whole. Obviously, and there's already been enough people that have dissected what happened, and it's a really sad situation because a guy lost his life. But I think what will ultimately, hopefully, come out of all of this is an innovation in the way that we certify autographs. Because for a long time, COAs have been fungible. Fungible meaning interchangeable. So you could take one COA from one item and a hologram off that item and just stick it onto another of the same type. And there's no check on whether that was the original item or not, whether that was an auto-penned version of the same item. So we need non-fungibility in our certification. So that may mean an NFT to accompany every item that goes on a blockchain that is verifiable, is unique, it is non-fungible, meaning it is not interchangeable. And if possible, that links to a video of the athlete signing the item.
There you go.
Or at the very least, if it's, say, PSA DNA certifying it, then it's high resolution imaging of that exact item. So you know the exact same item that was certified by PSA DNA is the item that you're currently holding. And it's non-fungible. It's unique to that item. Maybe a digital fingerprint on the item itself that is in, and PSA kind of already does that with their fluorescent ink, invisible ink daubs and things like that. But so that's better than nothing. But we need innovation in the certification of autographs. I mean, I have a Barry Bonds signed baseball here that I've had for 20 plus years. So I'm confident that it's legit, but it has a Steiner hologram on the back that is it's kind of just like it's just kind of like a generic Steiner holo. And then it comes with a Steiner certificate with a generic Steiner holo, just says Barry Bonds baseball. So that's completely fungible. That is something that could just be really transferred to any Barry Bonds ball, really. So I'm confident that that's a real ball, but you get the idea. It's something that it's not unique to that particular Barry Bonds signed baseball.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, just thinking about it, the idea of having some kind of NFT, some kind of like QR code that does link to an actual video of that exact item being signed by that particular athlete on whatever signing or whatever day they were doing that.
Yeah,
I think that's a fantastic idea. I think now the only problem with this, you realize what's coming up though, is that with all the deep fakes that are out there, seriously, you're going to have people that are going to be altering video and now forging the evidence video. And for high profile guys like Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, I mean, it might make sense if you can quickly in your basement cook up a deep fake of MJ, signing whatever. That's I'm
not an NFT expert or a blockchain expert, but I do know that it's extremely difficult to forge or to make an NFT. Otherwise, people would just like invent their own Bitcoin.
It's true. And also at the same time, we've come quite a long way since Will Smith eating the spaghetti with his bare hands. Right. I mean, that wasn't that long ago, but it's gotten way better since then. So I don't know where will we be in a year or 2 years.
True.
So I don't know. But
I'm hoping it's an innovation moment where it forces the hobby to become better, so we have more certainty with the items we're buying.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, thankfully, I mean, it seems, at least from the reports I've seen, it seems to mostly be targeting this ring, some of the ultra modern players, the biggest names in the hobby, and more memorabilia than cards. I know that might not be 100%, completely accurate, but we're talking about guys like Judge and Tom Brady and Mahomes, exactly. Some of the biggest names from all the sports, and things like mini helmets and jerseys and not baseballs and not just not cards per se.
And generally bigger ticket items like signed jerseys, higher dollar things like that. They do like a very simple auto pen Tom Brady autograph on a jersey. That's a big ticket item, So I don't think they're wasting their time on George Brett,
Yeah, exactly.
No disrespect.
Well, I was about to say that it kind of makes me think of something else too. If you're looking for authenticity, I have to wonder, now that PSA and Beckett, they're grading autographs and grading the strength of them. Of course, you would want to make sure that your autographs that you're forging are strong and bold and not streaky. And it almost makes me wonder if there might be some kind of counter movement where now people are like, this is kind of a streaky auto, but that almost authenticates it, because a forger wouldn't want to put out an 8 auto; they'd want a 10 auto, right?
Right.
So it's kind of interesting to think about that. Not that I don't think that would actually happen, but it's a fun little thought exercise to go down.
Yeah, opens up a can of worms for sure.
Yes, I'm seeing people are asking what's my Scotch selection tonight. I actually don't have anything in front of me. I probably should have, but no, I don't. Not partaking tonight. But how about you, Al?
Being in Denver, I just got a Coors Banquet. Keeping lubricated. So cheers to everyone in the chat. Can't wait for the National. It's the greatest time of the year.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic.
Well, let's speaking of the National, Brian. You just had a very exciting pickup. that I know you're not going to the National this year, but
Correct.
for all intents and purposes, it's your Nationals pickup.
It
it's
is
your national pickup. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, sure. So right, this pickup that I recently got, I just showed at the beginning there as a little teaser, but I collect Diamond King autographs. I love the Dick Perez artwork, and I recently came into this white whale of a card, and it's a Kirby Puckett 93 Diamond King autographed, and it's in a PSA authenticated slab. This one, and I wouldn't actually grade this auto anyway because it actually goes off the card a little bit to the side, so I wouldn't. But it's beautiful presenting. It's strong. It's bold. And it's so hard to find. And so I was just thrilled, over the moon, that this thing came available. It just popped it up as a buy it now. And I must have, stumbled across this like 3 minutes after it was posted, because it only had one watcher on it. And it was a buy it now for like $3.99. And I just snapped it up as soon as I saw it. And, I bought first and then thought about it later. And it just something like, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. One of these had sold in April. That was a streakier auto that sold for like $12.75 or something, $12.79, I think.
Yeah.
And so one of this boldness, I mean, this is unheard of. It's an unreal pickup. And
yeah,
so I'm still
that is, I mean, for an autograph collector,
my gosh.
we all know Puckett is a tough one. And then if you go into that a layer deeper with Diamond Kings, it makes that find really special.
Yeah,
because I think Puckett passed away in 2006, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but he retired, I think, in 96. I think he woke up one morning and was blind in one eye. He underwent like 3 surgeries to try to fix it and correct it, and nothing doing. Right. So he just had to like retire right there on the spot.
So that's a 93 Diamond King?
A 93.
So he had literally 13 years of life in order to sign that card, really. I mean, yeah.
And if you're looking at playing days, I don't know if he did many signings after he retired, but if it was signed during his playing days, 93, 96, that's a smaller window than his like 97, his 87 Diamond King or his 85 Diamond King. So it's a tough card for collectors who are looking for that set. It's the key card. It's the creme de la creme. It's the one. It's up there. It's almost as tough to find as a Barry Bonds. I mean, really, it's just crazy. Oh,
well, man. Congrats.
Thank you, Al. That's that.
And you got it for
all intents and purposes. That is my national pickup this year.
Yeah, and you got it for a great value.
Oh. Yeah, no, he didn't. He was not as, I kind of think of Puckett as like the AL Tony Gwynn. He's winning all these batting titles. Finishes batting 340 in a year. But and although they were both beloved, Tony Gwynn was like a fantastic signer. He would sign all the time, and Puckett just didn't sign as much. He really didn't.
No, he didn't live very long. So that just happened there. I believe he died at age 45, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, man.
Oh, well, I have my first national pickup as well.
Well, please share that with us. Yes.
This is one that I've been looking for the last 3 nationals. Haven't found it until now. So this is a Wilson Franks, 54 Wilson Franks Bob Feller.
Ooh.
Really beautiful card. A bit of a chase for me. It's a PSA 2, but just a really, really well-presenting 2. Doesn't have any wiener juice on it.
Nice.
One of those real clean ones. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it did have wiener juice, but this is one that does not have any hot dog juice or anything. It's just really nice, clean, and a nice, honest copy of Bob Feller 54 Wilson Franks. So that's one that I'm really happy to have. If I would have seen this card at the National at the price that I bought it, I would have snatched it up immediately. So we talked about this in Ocean City when we were on vacation a few weeks back. The right time to buy the card when you see it is when you see it, whether you're at the National or not. So yes, it will take some money away from my national budget, but I'll still have enough left over to buy a big ticket item, hopefully.
Beautiful. Yeah, I always like the Ted Williams. It's just such a beautiful card from that set.
Yeah, that one's kind of a dream card and outside my pay grade.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's why I like targeting guys like Bob Feller. It's a perfect guy to target the Wilson Franks set because it's a very expensive set. It's a very scarce set. And so Bob Feller, it's a perfect guy to target in that kind of a set because you have a high level guy like Ted Williams in a very scarce set, then that's going to be a big comma card. And the Bob Feller can be had much cheaper, especially in the low grade.
That was my thought with the 97 Upper Deck, the first ever game jersey card. I picked up a Tony Gwynn earlier this year, and it's like the Griffey is just like way out there. Forget that. It's like $2,000, but the Griffey, you can get that for 200.
Yeah.
So it's way more affordable. So
you mean the Gwyn?
Yeah, the Gwyn.
Yeah. That's a perfect example where move
Right.
down a tier with your
And
player
player.
when you have a really scarce set or a really valuable set.
Yeah, the set's already way up there, so it doesn't take. Yeah, you don't have to go for the if it's top tier set, you don't have to go highest tier of player. You can come down level, and that's why I love collecting Maddox anyway, because Maddox isn't Bonds or Griffey or Jeter.
Yet he is a top tier pitcher.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely he is. No, totally. But
he may not be hobby top tier, but he is pitching top tier.
All right, we had a question in the comment here. Where is Bob Feller on your top 100 list? Do you happen to know exactly where that is?
Oh, I have the list right here. I think he's in the 70s, but let me make sure. Because I do have it right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Bob Feller is currently sitting at number 67.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, he is solidly on the top 100 and will never not be on the top 100.
There you go. Fantastic. So now you posed a couple of questions, and I wanted to talk about some of these because I think these are good questions to pose and to think about whatever you collect. And so you had a couple of questions that I've been thinking about, and I'm not even sure what my answers are, but we'll see what comes out. But the question was, what is your ultimate Grail card? Like, what is your or ultimate Grail item? Just ultimate Grail. What is that for you and your collection? I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, for me, the white whale and maybe the last core item that I end up getting in my collecting life will probably be my Babe Ruth autograph. If it isn't the Babe Ruth autograph, it'll be the Lou Gehrig autograph. But they're similarly priced, and they're going to take a lot of saving and or moving around of other collectible assets or inheriting some of money that I don't expect to inherit or whatever. It's going to take something special for me to ever afford Ruth, Gehrig, and Mathewson. Those are the top tier, most valuable autographs that, God willing, at some point in my life, maybe I might be able to get into, but something special would have to happen. But yeah, Ruth, Gehrig, and Mathewson are just the top tier of autographs that I would be looking to add someday, some way. I don't know how. Not this year, that's for sure.
No.
But what about for you?
For me, you know what? It's interesting. I'm not sure I actually have an answer. And I'm not sure if that's a dangerous thing, or I'm not sure if that's like a wise thing to not have something put up on the pedestal where you make it so, you build it up so much in your mind. I don't know. I mean, I certainly have a few cards, a few ideas, but I'm not sure if I would, again, because it kind of goes back to making a list, like the pros and cons. Like, it's good to stay focused and have your specific items on that list, but you don't want to be so hyper-focused that you're wearing blinders and you're oblivious to amazing other things around you that might be opportunistically good pickups. So like as a 90s guy, like I would be remiss if I didn't mention, like, oh, the idea of getting a Frank Thomas no name on front. Like, how cool would that be as like an ultimate, Grail card for a 90s guy? Or the Griffey Mansell 94 Upper Deck autograph.
That is a 90s Grail. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a 90s Grail. Like, by anyone's standard, that's it. But the thing that stops me about that is that, and I know that you and I were talking about this the other day. Like, if I want a nice Griffey autograph and if I want a nice Mansell autograph, I could get both of those separately and pay a fraction of that. I can pick up a Griffey Diamond King like this. Or even a pack pulled certified one. I can pick up one of those. And look, in 91 and 92 score, Mansell has the certified autographs out of there where you could pick those up certified probably for about $1,000. You don't have to pay the $10K that this Griffey Mansell, for a fraction of the price. You can get both of those as, pack pulled certified autos. And so I have a hard time justifying that kind of an expense for a piece like that, even if it is a crazy, incredible Grail card. So, what do you think?
So you don't have an answer, but what about like a Maddox PMG someday?
Yeah, that's up there too. You know, I mean, there are a couple of them. The Crusade Red is one of those cards, and you know, some might say, what about a 24 karat gold from Fleer Brilliance 99? That just doesn't have like the nostalgia for me. It's an amazing card, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'd be comfortable spending the $4 or $5 grand on it that it would cost. I don't own anything of that caliber in my collection. I'm not sure I ever would.
Right.
And so I'm not really sure about that. Someone did ask about the finest refractor. Yeah, I do have a finest refractor for Maddox. I have a 93. Mine's in a PSA assigned 9. There was a 10 that just sold for 3,800 on eBay just a couple days ago.
Wow.
So that's what the PSA 10 is going for nowadays, 3,800.
Mm-hmm. Which, not as crazy of a multiple as I would have thought, given what 10s go for,
It's true, but also it's not a particularly low pop one either.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. If you look at the pops, I think there's like 30 of them out there, which I don't know, for 241 out there. The PSA 9 is like a pop 100 something. So I don't know. Oh yeah, 97 mirror black. There you go. That would be an ultimate grail. Thank you. Yeah, Defects of Life. Yes. Okay. The 97. Yep. Pinnacle certified mirror. Guilty as charged. Okay, that's one that I would salivate over.
Yeah, I've been drooling over Defects of Life's Instagram posts lately.
Oh my god! You think you have a good collection, and you take one little glance over there, it's like, oh my goodness, that's a completely different tier. Oh baby, that's some eye candy for sure.
Yep.
Amazing collection. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I mean, and so that kind of leads us into something else too. It's like, what is like the highest dollar value of piece you would feel comfortable either having in your collection or shelling out for something? Because like I was thinking about this, and like I said, like I'm not sure I would feel comfortable, paying. I don't think I would feel comfortable paying $4 or $5 grand for something. I think the highest might be somewhere around the neighborhood of like 2 or 25 or somewhere around there. I've never paid that. The most I ever paid for a card was I paid about 1,000 for
the 93 finest refractor.
93 finest refractor. Yeah, that was 1,020, and then plus tax and shipping and all that. So it's closer to 1,100. And I paid a little more than that. The only one I overpaid. The only one I spent more than on was the 97 essential credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a PSA 8, which is a pop 2, I think, with 2 higher.
That's the speckly one.
That's the speckly one. Yeah,
that's a beautiful card.
Yeah, it is a beautiful card, and that was a Facebook purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I only got that one thanks to Bill, Hall of Fame collector, turned me on to that one. That was last year's Grail pickup, or one of the 2 Grail pickups. That and the 97 gold embossed refractor.
You know what the crazy thing is about Bill is he is the exact combination of both of us as a collector, right? Because he does the Hall of Fame autograph. He does the high-level vintage autographs, and he does the Maddox. Isn't that crazy?
What's also really super funny about that too is that he is also into he collected Tony Gwynn for a hot minute.
Okay.
And so when I was getting into Tony Gwynn, and I got a nice pickup of his, couple nice ones this year. Here's 93 finest refractor of Gwynn. Nice. I picked up this year. But yeah, so this is one of those that this is one of my big Gwynn pickups of the year, PSA 9. Really pleased to add that one to the PC. But yeah, he's a fantastic hybrid of, you're right, of both of our collection and our collecting styles. So
he posted recently on his new collecting room, his new showcase room?
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
My God. Yeah. Next level stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out Bill Hall of Fame Collector's last video on his man cave, his new collecting cave. It's amazing.
You won't regret it. You will not regret it. Absolutely. All right. So one other thing that I wanted to discuss with you a little bit is a couple weeks ago, Jeremy Lee put out some collecting policies, personal policies he has for himself. Now, these aren't necessarily, it's not so much as like a focused list, like a targeted, list of targeted cards, which I guess is good to have. But it's more, well, depending on how solidly you want to say you're following these, there could be a guideline, They could be hard and fast rules that you put into place for yourself in your collection. And he had a couple of them, and I think that they were very good. They were good collecting rules. And I was curious, what kind of rules do you have, if you have any? Do you have them for yourself?
Oh yeah.
How seriously do you take those? How often do you break your own rules? Because I know I definitely break my own sometimes, but only on rare occasions. And for I'm curious, what are some of your rules, if you have any? Do you number them? Are they complete? I'm just curious to hear your thoughts, your response to that.
When we started talking about this topic, and it was prompted by Jeremy Lee's post, I thought it was a great topic. I made a quick little list of the things I could think of. Sure. One of the main things, the reason I have my top 100 list is that's part of my policy. Is like I collect the top 100 players. So that's like the most fundamental policy is I really try to keep my collection, my core collection anyway, honed to the top 100 players, however I define them. Past and present, and so that's probably my biggest guardrail, and then also the side PC is my Pirates Hall of Fame collection. So I have a little bit more leeway for if you're a Pirates Hall of Famer. I'm trying to get a meaningful card for every Pirates Hall of Famer that spent more than half of their career with the Pirates anyway. Yeah. But then other rules or deal breakers, you could say. I agree with Jeremy Lee. No sticker autos. I just not a big fan of sticker autos because the player didn't actually hold that card, or it's not really as direct of a connection to that player, which ties in with another theme I like. Collecting is connecting. And to me, when you're buying anything for a collecting purpose, for me, it's connecting. And so you're trying to connect to that player in some way. You're paying for a connection. You're collecting that connection to that player. And for me, a sticker auto, it's not as strong of a connection, to that player as if they, that card went through a journey to get to that player, to be signed, to come back, to get pulled out of a pack. It's just my preference. Another one, I want for relics. I don't want junk relics. I don't want relics that never were worn or used in a game. That's just fundamental to me. What are we doing then? We're just cutting up Dick's Sporting Goods jerseys and putting them in cards. I don't know. It just doesn't. Again, it's not a connection to the player. If it's not a connection to the player, then I'm not that interested. I don't do duplicates, so I don't collect doubles. I don't want redundancy. I just don't do duplicates. If I get 2 of one card or redundancy in the collection, I move that along so I can deploy that in a more efficient way in the collection. I don't prefer cards graded a 1. That's just my own little thing. Me and Darren at Return to Collecting talked about this at length, and we share the same view of like the variance, the variety, the variation you could get in a 1 is so wide that like I just like a 1.5 a lot better than a 1 because it tells you something more about the condition than if it was just a 1. A 1 could be run over by a truck condition, or it could be a pretty nice looking card. Whereas a 1.5 tells you, okay, it's at least into that D territory. So that's not the F, it's the D at least, Yeah. It's close to it too,
Right. No, makes sense. I have to point this out here. So Mookie just came in the chat here. It says a jockstrap patch would be a kind of a junk relic.
Yeah, point taken. Yeah. I don't want that kind of junk relic.
No.
I don't like either kind of junk relic.
That was awesome.
That's actually more of a connection than I want with a player.
I'm okay. Really.
Yeah.
I don't need game used steroid needles. No, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
What about you? What are your do you have any policies that you try to live by?
Yeah, I've got a couple. It made me think and just get into the self-reflection mode a little bit. And I think one of the number ones for me would be if the condition of a card, if it will bother me, then I need to pass and wait for a better one. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough one to do. Now, obviously, there are certain calibers, certain tiers of cards that they never come up. And if it's that rare of a card, then in that case, condition no longer matters. And you just get it. And what you have is what you have. And that's it. Just a couple of weeks ago, I just recently saw of a collector that had a card that I wasn't actually sure existed until I saw a picture of this, and ended up having a great conversation with this guy who owned this card. It's a 96 Pinnacle Aficionado first pitch preview of Greg Maddux.
Oh yeah, you've been after that forever.
I mean, if you look at the baseball cardpedia page on this set, first of all, it's an absurd set because you had to jump through so many hoops to just get one random card like shipped to you. You had to be on Pinnacle's mailing list. You had to answer 5 trivia questions, 2 of which were on the website, 3 of which were on this other form. You had to get all 5 questions right. You had to mail the thing in. They would send you back one random card, and it might be like a Jeff Cirillo. You don't know.
Right.
So it's an absolutely crazy card. I've never seen a Barry Bonds. Neither has our dad, by the way. If anyone knows one, he really wants one badly. But I've never seen a Maddux until some guy posted a picture of one. It's just like, okay. And of course, the edge chipping on the back of those cards is always bad. So even if you did have one graded, it would never be better than like a 5 or a 6. It's like the 99 Fleer Tradition Date with Destinies or the 99 PMGs. The edges are just chipped. That's just the fact of life.
Yeah.
So if you get one in your collection.
The first pitch, you're taking an authentic slab at a second, right? I mean,
100%. I don't care. The thing's got a fold in it. It's bent in half. I mean,
right.
Gosh.
That's the own appeal.
Oh, that's the my appeal, the own appeal, whatever Mike Petty wants to call it. Absolutely. That's exactly right. But the point is, so if the condition will bother me, and that's an if, then I've got to wait and pass up on it because you can play the upgrading game to a point. It's like, well, I want to get a better one. Well, I'm gonna get a placeholder card. Yeah, but you're wasting time, you're wasting resources, wasting effort, and I try to avoid that if I can. And so it's tough when you get these cards that are like, they're tough cards, but like they're not like super limited. So like a black refractor that's numbered out of 199, like maybe I wait. Mm-hmm. But what about if the black refractor numbered out of 50? Ooh, like 2002 is numbered out of 50. The 03 is numbered out of 199. I picked up the 199 this year, and it's actually off to PSA right now. It's in my last grading order. I just dropped it off like last week. But can I afford to wait on the out of 50? It's like, ooh, that one gives me pause. And I did. I turned one down that came available this year. I didn't jump on it because I wasn't happy with the condition. So that's one of my rules. So if condition will bother me, try to wait. Yeah, because I'm going to try to avoid playing that catch-up game, that upgrade game. Number 2 for me is playing days cards only. Mm-hmm. So for Greg Maddux, I have it more even limited to his Braves years primarily. I mean, obviously rookie cards, and that's an exception. But mostly I'm interested in his cards of his in a Braves uniform, which goes through 2003. In some cases, like there's a Topps Chrome for 2004, where he's in a Braves uniform. Fine, okay, I'll do that. But mostly just sticking to those years primarily. Again, do I break that rule? Sometimes, yes, I do. So I have, for example, I love my Diamond Kings autographs. And so the puzzle cards that appeared in those Diamond Kings, like Hank Aaron has a puzzle card from 86 Donruss. And so I have that card, the puzzle card, autographed in a Beckett slab for Hank Aaron. But that's cool because it allows me, an 80s, 90s guy, to get into Hank Aaron, a cool, autograph from the era I like. So I do break that rule sometimes. Right.
And it's Dick Perez consistent.
Of course. It's Dick's, and it says like Diamond, it says, Hall of Fame Diamond King on it's not like, it doesn't have the Diamond King like arch logo on the top of it, but it's a Dick Perez. It's in the set. It's from the years, same artwork. So that's what I'm looking for. So in general, playing days autos. Same thing with the no sticker autos. I don't like sticker autos. I think it's a bad idea. It weakens the connection, like you just mentioned. Yeah. Same thing. I do have exactly 2 sticker autos in my collection. I just picked up one recently that was a Piazza Diamond King from '94. And so that one, the price was right. Piazza is so tough to find. He just doesn't sign much, and so I was able to pick that.
There's definitely a time and a place to break every rule, for sure.
Yes. And the only other one I had was a Sosa that, again, you can barely even see the sticker. And so I was happy with it. Still am happy with it. Might I upgrade? I mean, maybe, but it's not a top priority for me. I'm very happy with it. And so fine. But generally speaking, that's what I like. I also, another rule for me is bold autos only. So I don't really want faded autos. I don't really want streaky autos. And that can be a challenge for guys. If I am eventually, I've toyed with the idea many times of picking up something like a Mantle from like that 91 score set, 92 score, something like that. And those are pricey cards. And if you want a strong auto that's like an auto 8 or an auto 9, so many of those are faded, or so many of those are streaky. They're the pack pulled variety. I just understand that if and when that time comes, I'm going to have to pay up for it. And so that's just a reality of the situation.
Or like I have my Mantle auto card is the 89 Bowman reprint, which is, from the period of 89. It looks like the 53 Bowman.
Yes.
Aesthetic card.
And so along the same line, I might also consider, so Dick Perez had the Hall of Fame Heroes set from the 80s. I would consider that too as a viable option to get into someone like a Ted Williams or a Mickey Mantle autograph. That is absolutely a viable option that I would consider. Those do exist, slabbed up and authenticated, and yeah, I would absolutely consider that. Those were some pretty big name autos, pretty big, fund, expensive ones to get into. But yes, for the sake of having a Ted Williams that's from the 80s, 90s, so it is post playing days, but it's got the Dick Perez connection, it's got the artwork in there. It would fit as an honorary Diamond King. So I think that's valid, that's consistent, and still fits nicely in my bonsai tree. So I think that's pretty good. So yeah, there are exceptions to that too. Something else I have is nothing covering or obscuring the player's face. And this can mean an autograph. Yeah. It could also mean a protective peel, a coating from like 95 Finest or something like that. I try to avoid that. And so if the words like Finest protective coating, please peel and remove, if that's not covering the player at all, like I'm okay leaving it on sometimes. I understand both sides of this. Like, yeah, you want to leave it as it is in the original condition. You don't want to mess with it. That's like, you leave it exactly as you found it. And that's sort of the collector mentality. But gosh,
we're both peelers.
But those refractors are just so shiny, man. You peel them off, and the shine just blasts you in the face. How can you say no? Oh my gosh, and especially if you're going to get graded and you're going to have a pristine surface, or at least scratch free. I mean, maybe there are puck marks and refractor lines or whatever, but man, it's a really compelling case for peeling those things.
Yeah, they were meant to be peeled, and they look, they looked the way they were meant to look when they're peeled.
I've seen a couple examples too where you peel it and I've seen the text from that, like peel and remove the protective coating. That text, either there has been some sun fading where it fades the card everywhere but where the words were, and the message is like emblazoned on the card after the peel has been removed.
Yeah, because I've never seen that.
It's crazy. It's like a weird, like a shadow effect of it's weird. Anyway. So I'm not sure if that's pro peeling or anti peeling, but it's something they can look out for. It can happen. I've seen it. And the last rule I have for myself, or I guess guideline, because I break them sometimes, but the last guideline I have for myself is to really carefully consider and define any expansion to my PC, just to have some intentionality, and be careful. There are so many cool things.
Yep. And
we only have limited resources and funds, and you can't just go hog wild and just pick up every cool thing you see here and there and everywhere, and so it goes back to focus. It's not saying you can't ever expand or branch out, but just when you do, you got to do it with intentionality. You got to do it with careful focus, careful planning. That's kind of what I did this year when I got into picking up some Tony Gwynn cards. I love Tony Gwynn, and it would be so easy to just go off the deep end and go after everything. But I wanted to really carefully consider what I was picking up. And I wanted to pick up a couple of Tony Gwynn cards that were maybe in some sets that Maddox wasn't in, for example. So very notable, iconic sets. So for Pie Pop's final rule, go no hog wild. There you go. Thank you. So for example, so one of my favorite sets, one of my pickups I'm going to be targeting at some point is a Tony Gwynn 98 SP authentic chirography autograph. It's one of the most beautiful autograph sets of the 90s.
Agreed.
I do not have one. Maddox isn't in that set. He's in the 99, and I have that one. But the 98 design is far superior. And yeah, the Griffey is like 2K, and so it's silly, it's stupid. I'm not going to go for that. But it's just priced out. But a Tony Gwynn, now that that we could make a run at. And there was a PSA 9 that just sold for like 420 or something. I missed out on that one. I was thinking the last one went for the 350, so I was prepared to maybe put something in there, but didn't get that. But hey, if the bidding window had been extended by 2 minutes, maybe. Oh, so anyway.
Gwyn gives you access to sets that you may not have access to with Maddox, so that's great.
Well, that's right. So any hitters insert set, like an on base leaders or something like that, where Tony Gwynn, he's going to be in there. Maddox won't, or even other sets. Like for example, there's the '93 Cooperstown set that had the first ever Dufex cards, the circular Dufex pattern. Maddox isn't in that set. He's not. So if I want to get a card that, like, if I want to be somewhat of a type collector and pick one of those up, it's probably going to be, well, Griffey's pretty expensive, right? So maybe I want to go for a Bonds or a Gwynn or a Frank Thomas, someone like that, to just gain access to that set.
Right.
So
that's an odd that Maddox is not in that set.
Right. I mean, he was already like 93. That was his second of his consecutive Cy Youngs. So yeah, exactly. 93 Cooperstown Dufex. Exactly. The circular Dufex. That's a fantastic set. I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't have a card from that set yet. So guess what? Just went on my eBay watch list. But yeah, so those are some of my guidelines. Those are some of my like rules that try to just keep myself a little bit on the straight and narrow, because there are so many cool things out there. And so if you don't try to rein it in a little bit, you can just find yourself, I don't know, picking up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, your hobby North Star is your hobby North Star for a reason, generally. I mean, it's what truly excites you. And
yes,
so,
Boston fan, 97 game jersey, Gwynn. Yeah, there's no game jersey Maddox. Right. So Gwynn, perfect guy. Perfect example of why I'm picking up a card like that. That's exactly right. Yes.
Any deviation away from your North Star better be worth it, or better be worth taking funds away from your main mission.
That's right.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah, so something else I wanted to discuss too with you and just bounce this idea. This has always been something I was thinking about making a video about it, but I think I'll just ask you about it and see what you think. But I've often thought about the idea, and this is an important thing, I think. Yes, there is an 05 Game Jersey Maddox throwback. There is. It's numbered. Well, it's not numbered, but it's 100 made. I'm looking at that too. It's a throwback that looks like the 97 Game Jersey design for Maddox. So thank you for mentioning that. That is good. But one thing I wanted to mention and ask you about was the pacing of collecting. And I think this is an important thing to discuss. It's like if you find yourself on like a monthly budget, which I do. I have a monthly budget. And of course, I can expand that budget by, either selling cards to add to that to help get into bigger pickups. But if you do, you probably want to collect in a way that allows you to explore that budget to its fullest. So you want to be able to find, either collect something that's scarce enough where if you do have, let's say, $100 a month or $200 a month, and that's your budget, or $50 a month, or whatever it is, you don't want to be bombarded by all these cards. They're going to be maxing out that on day one. You want to be able to target cards. So let's say you do have $50 a month. Let's say that's your budget. And you want to get into some of these, like, gold signatures or some of these artist proofs cards they're tough to pull, right? They're actually a tough, pack odds to get into, but they're just not that expensive. So it allows you to maybe pick up a couple of those and stay within your budget, right? But if all you're doing is targeting these huge cards, or ones that pop up all the time, then you're going to be finding yourself running out of funds at the end of week 1 of the month and just kind of twiddling your thumbs and it's like, well, not much else to do. So I think there's an important, and this kind of goes into collecting bonsai branches too, because, if you want to add another branch, that's one more set of potentially these eBay save searches that you've now going to get pinged about. That, well, do you have enough resources to be able to prioritize that to the extent that you want to prioritize it? And maybe you do that when one of the other branches either kind of runs dry, or the pickups become rarer and rarer. And again, it kind of goes into what stage is your collection in? It's like early stage, mid stage, or late stage, right? So, and it doesn't matter, I think, if you're collecting like a set, or you're collecting a player run, or you're collecting whatever, a fracture run or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like at the beginning, like when I was in the 90s and I was a kid, the way I engaged with the hobby, I think most entry points for most collectors is ultra modern. We see players on TV. We want to pick up cards of them. And the way I do that, I'm buying packs, right? And maybe if breaks had existed back in the 90s, maybe I would have bought into breaks, although that wouldn't have happened because the highest end products were only $5 a pack, which doesn't sound like a lot in today's hobby. But remember, like packs back in 1991 were 50 cents. Mm-hmm. And so up to $5, that's a 10x increase, right? In pretty quick, short order. So that's fine and all, but eventually you start to realize with these, buying enough wax that, well, that's kind of like it's a scatter shot. You're getting all these random cards and random players, and then like you got to rein it in, get a little bit of organization, and maybe we have like pages of different guys that you are collecting. So I got a Juan Gonzalez page and Ivan Rodriguez page, and I got my whatever Bo Jackson page, and you're going to start making filling out when you get these cards. And so then you develop to a mid stage in your collecting. And so then you're targeting not just the wax, but you're targeting singles. And you're targeting singles of those players, okay? And maybe higher quality singles. And so those might not be as easy to find as maybe just random packs you pick up at the store. And then eventually, you get all the low-hanging fruit and you pick up the easier to find ones. And then you're left with it. At some point, you get to a late stage of a collector, and where you have all the easy to get stuff. And the stuff you tend to target is the more rare stuff, the more obscure stuff, the harder to find stuff, the more expensive stuff. And
you don't have all the easy to get stuff. You just don't want it anymore.
Well, maybe that's the case, right? And so maybe so it's fascinating because like same thing, like let's say like remember we used to collect the 93 Flare set when that first came out. Yeah. And when you want to collect a set, one of the best ways you can start, buy a bunch of packs, man. Just rip them open because every card you get is a brand new one. Oh, I need that one. I need that one. I need that one. And yeah, you might get a duplicate or something, but we were both collecting the set. So if I had two of them, I'd just trade you for one that you didn't have, and boom, we had it, right? Mm-hmm. At some point, there becomes a point where now buying that wax is no longer good enough because, well, we have every card except for like 15 or 20 specific numbers we're looking for, right? So at that point, well, maybe we just want to target just those cards because buying packs doesn't cut it anymore, right? So we've now gone to like mid-stage or whatever. And it's the same, same kind of thing. If there are whatever you're targeting, you're going to pick up a lot of things that are the low end, the low hanging fruit. You'll gather those first, but the fruit at the very top of that tree is going to take some work to get there.
Yeah.
You have to position the ladder and climb way up there and move these other branches out of the way. Finally achieve that apple at the very top of the tree.
Yeah, let me unpack some of that.
Yes.
So you were talking about.
I've talked for too long. Go ahead.
Yeah. We don't have much time left. So you were talking about pacing. We're both on fixed income, basically. You're a teacher and I'm a healthcare provider. So we're basically both on fixed income here, right? So we have to be smart about how we spend our hobby resources. And so if there's, monthly budgets and things like that, you can blast out that monthly budget every month and start shooting BBs basically at, smaller low hanging fruit and just spend that money as it comes in and you're shooting BBs, right? Or pool that money for a few months and now you're shooting some higher caliber ammunition and picking up some, you're doing some more damage. Or one thing I like about the National every year is I've been saving BBs all year, and so I can now form those BBs into a cannonball and I can do real damage. I can shoot that cannon and get a Walter Johnson autograph, or shoot that cannon and get that larger dollar piece that I can't just go out and buy those things. But that's what the National does for me. It helps me discipline and budget so that I can kind of pool those BBs together and do some serious damage once a year. So that's how I kind of pace myself. And I think that's a late stage trait is more discipline and more intentionality. And I guess just really knowing what I like, what contributes to my joy in the hobby. And I know what I want, I'm pretty defined in that.
Yeah, you're very defined. I would say you are, I don't know if, absolute numbers or percentages, but you are more hyper focused, I think, and you are very intentional about your collecting to the point where you have the exact, whatever it is, 17 pieces that you have remaining left to pick up. You have it so clearly defined, more so than almost any other collector I've ever discussed and talked with, that it's a breath of fresh air, because, you know, here's a guy, you know what you want, you know what you're after, you know what you're looking for, you'll know when you see it.
Yep.
and you know what the price point is that you're looking for. You know the characteristics of what you want. You'll know it when you see it. If you don't see it, well, you save it.
If I don't see it, then I still have
save it for a wrecking ball to come in there next time.
we only have so many BBs to use, right? So I'm going to try to use them as well as I can.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh man,
good stuff. Wow,
that is good stuff.
That went fast.
Yeah, it did. How much time we got left?
Well, probably
5 minutes.
Cut in maybe 5 minutes from now. Just a reminder to everyone: if you donate during this next 5 minutes, you will be entered to win one of these two Hall of Fame autographs. The Ozzie Smith in my case, and the Greg Maddox in Brian's case. There may only be like a few people to donate, so your odds might be really good. So if you donate,
if only 2 people donate, then they win it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know who all is in here, but you got some good chances there.
Yeah, it's great. I donated earlier today, so my donation's in. It's very easy. Go to Zelle in your bank app and just go through the process.
And you know, with the last, whatever it is, 3 minutes we have, I would like to, or 4 minutes, I guess we hit, what, 55? Yeah. Last 4 minutes, I would like to just throw out one last thing, and maybe this is opening up a can of worms, but you know, I'm going to go for it anyway. Let's see what we can do with this. So, you know, I like to use the term high population wax era, you know, because, you know, yes, I understand that people use the phrase junk wax to refer to these span of years that I happen to love. And yes, they're not junk to me, but I don't take offense at the term junk wax, because that's just what people, you know, that's the term that they use. Everyone knows what you mean when you say junk wax. I know you mean from the years, you know, 87 to 92. I get it. Like that's basically it. And I don't take offense to that. And I feel like we should be able to use other phrases without worrying about offending people, because sometimes it's just easier, even if it's, you know, even if there are better terms to use. When you say the term oddball, you know, I know what is meant by that. I know that we're talking about the King B discs. We're talking about, you know, well,
cards that generally weren't listed in Beckett.
Yes. Yeah. If it was listed in Beckett, it was mainstream. It was a big release. You know, people generally know what you're talking about when you say, you know, Pacific or Pinnacle or Fleer or Upper Deck. We know what those are.
There's generally never going to be a universal definition of any of these things. There's never going to be a universal definition of oddball. There's never going to be a universal definition of vintage. There's never going to be a universal definition of quality or quantity. Yeah. But what we should be focusing on is, what is our definition, our own definition of that, and then lead with that. You know, no two people are going to have the exact same definition of these terms, so we probably shouldn't, you know, harp on it too. You know, don't get triggered by it, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, this is, I'm kicking the hornet's nest. That's right, Mookie. Yeah, that's right. But it's true, because everyone defines them differently. You hit the nail on the head here. The most important definition for any collector should be their own definition of it.
How do you define it? And that's really all that matters.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I do think there is some utility in having everyone sort of on a similar page. You know, I think there's utility in having a name for this thing, whatever this thing is, vintage, oddball cards, whatever it is. And, you know, if we don't like the name of something, maybe we can, you know, work to replace it with something more apt. You know, if we don't like own appeal, we can change it to my appeal or whatever, right?
Yeah,
we can do
like junk wax, then we kind of started saying high pop wax, and that works.
High population wax. That's exactly right. That's right. But I'm not offended when someone tells me that they, you know, looked at a junk wax collection. I know exactly what they mean. They had these boxes and boxes of 91 Donruss and, you know, 88 Fleer. I get it. You know,
this is oddball, and I love it. You know, I don't think that's a derogatory term. This Wilson Franks card is oddball. It's vintage oddball. Shout out, Rick. But this is a vintage oddball card. You know.
Yes, it is,
and I love it. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing to say about that card.
I love my Denny's holograms.
Right.
Okay. I like my craft cheese pop-up cards from the 90s. Okay. Yeah. I like them. I do. So sue me, but it's an oddball card. Okay.
Yeah. I think we generally understand as a hobby, like what oddball means generally.
Yeah. All right. So I didn't mean to kick the hornet's nest, but hey, just saying.
I love you, John.
we love you, John. We love you.
She's the national, buddy.
Yeah. And that's a sad thing. I was listening actually to Brent Richards, and I saw him in the chat earlier. Meant to say hi to him there, but yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it just gets a little too expensive to travel to the national if it means plane tickets and hotel rooms and all that, and so.
Especially when what you're looking for generally isn't going to be there in huge quantities.
That's exactly right. Not I'm not looking for just general ultra modern, general vintage or whatever. I'm looking for very targeted, very narrow band, of very obscure. It's sort of that late stage stuff I'm looking for, and so that doesn't just pop up. You're not going to see showcases, full of the stuff I'm looking for anyway. So
Brent Richards and Shane Shoebox Large. We're talking about this earlier today. They were like,
I was watching that video. I was nodding along, and it hadn't reached the end of it, so I hadn't left a comment yet, but I probably will.
As much as I'd love to see those guys,
video.
As much as I'd love to see those guys and hang out, I get why they're not going.
100%. Again, like you said, fixed income. Like,
right?
Hey, what are you gonna do? Yeah. All right. Well, I think we were just buzzed as. Having to wrap things up, right? This is. Are
we getting the old hook now?
I think that's what happened. I think Sammy just came on.
Guys.
Here he is.
We're on a tight schedule, so we gotta keep things moving along.
No worries.
Alrighty.
Very compelling conversation. I'll let you guys finish up.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all I had.
All right. I think that's a wrap.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Donate. You got like 2 more minutes to donate.
Sneak them in. Get a couple Hall of Fame autographs. Sneak them in there under the wire. Go do it.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Love the hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at Four Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next time on Four Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the Four Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and see you soon.
All right, guys. Clementi Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.